is the Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta Tour de France. It's a car named after the legendary race. No, not that one, the other one. The Tour de France automobile.
They called it the toughest car race in history. An entire lap of France. 4,000 odd grueling miles over 10 days on road, track and dirt. The Tour de France made the Le Mans 24 hours look like a Sunday fun run. It ran for nearly a century, but its glory days were the end of the 1950s, where this Ferrari 250 Tour de France cleaned up, winning every year it competed. Only 77 were ever made, and this one is worth £5 million.
They were easy to drive, long distance, and they were reliable. But they were also quick. This one can do 160 miles an hour.
Which is thanks to a 3-litre V12 producing 250 horsepower, which, by 1950 standards, was a lot.
What's it like into this hairpin? Second, heel in tow. First, wow. Bit of understeer. Get on the gas early, grab second. Listen to the noise. My first day in the job. Can't believe they've given me a £5 million Ferrari to throw around. Wouldn't make the best introduction to the BBC insurance department, would it? Hi, yeah, Chris here. New bloke.
The Tour de France race didn't just run on road. They'd also stop off for a blast around any track they found along the way. Tracks like this one. Circuit Paul Ricard. Fast, technical, and boasting one of the longest straights of any track on the planet. Just the place then to let the old girl off the leash.
My first chance to open it up. Yes. It doesn't get any better. That engine, that gearbox. It's really hard not to imagine yourself as some gentleman racer from the late 50s. What a life to lead. What a bit of oversteer.
So good was the 250 TDF that when it reached racing retirement, Ferrari retired its name too. Now, 50 years later, the Tour de France is back. Welcome to the Ferrari F12tdf. 770 brake horsepower of brain-melting V12 Fury.
The basic recipe is the same as the TDF from the 50s. A normally aspirated V12 up front, motivation from the back. But this is another world.
Okay, this isn't officially called the Tour de France because those pesky men in Lycra now own the full name. So, TDF, lowercase it is. What Ferrari's done here, basically, is take the F12 and sharpened it. More power, less weight. A pretty standard recipe for going quicker. But taking a car as savage as the Ferrari F12 and making it sharper is like taking a hydrogen bomb and making it more explodey.
It is bonkers fast. There's 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Top speed, 211 miles an hour.
But the TDF isn't really about speed. It's about downforce. The dark art of gluing a car to the ground through the power of air alone.
It's not pretty, but it's all functional. This big mouth gulps in the air, then it extracts it through this nostril, then in again into this intake here, where it gets accelerated down the side of the car. And these gills are fully functional because they reduce the pressure in that wheel arch.
And then everything gets kicked over this new rear spoiler, and there are even flaps down there underneath that are just to give you more downforce. But of course, it's also an excuse for some beautiful details. Everything's carbon and little bits that stick out everywhere. This car also has something Ferrari calls passo corto virtuale, where the TDF's rear wheels turn slightly in the opposite direction to its fronts. They say this makes cornering more nimble. I say more scary.
Ferrari said it created this car to be challenging, to be a bit of an animal. And by George, it is. I'm using about a quarter throttle here in third gear, and I'm completely sideways. I don't think I've driven a car that wants to oversteer more readily. That was 90 miles an hour, and I absolutely love it. It's a difficult car to control, but would you want it any other way? Should Ferrari make cars that everyone can drive? All supercars now can be driven by complete idiots. The world needs cars that are difficult to drive.
Compared to the normal F12 then, the TDF is easier to crash and less easy on the eyes. And it costs £100,000 more. But none of that matters.
You want a car that makes the hairs on your neck stand up, that makes every nerve in your body dance, like it's at some insane 90s rave every time you push the throttle. This is it. This is that car.
Ferrari has hinted this might be its last proper V12 without some sort of artificial power boost. Maybe turbos, more likely hybrid electrical power. So the F12 TDF could be the end of the road for that grand pure engine, and a road stretching back to the 250 Tour de France and before. The V12, the very soul of Ferrari. If this is indeed a send-off, it's an unforgettable one.